What's up, my brothers? It is February 19th, 2021. Brothers, I'd like to thank each and every one of you all who have checked up on me, made sure I was okay, just peeping in, see how your boy was doing. Brothers, I have never experienced anything like this in my life, in my 30 years of life. Brothers, this was the worst winter storm I've ever seen in Texas. This is the worst winter storm I've ever seen. In case you didn't know, I live in Arlington, Texas. I'm in the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I live 15 minutes away from AT&T Stadium, aka Cowboys Stadium. I stay 20 minutes outside of Dallas. I'm right in the thick of things. Brothers, this was the worst I've seen. I've never seen anything like this. Now, of course, we had previous snowstorms in the past. I remember the winter of 2015, like February, March, and shit like that. It was snowing. I think it was like snowing into April during that year. That was pretty bad, but nothing like this. Like, there weren't massive power outages. There wasn't many pipes bursting everywhere. It was this, wow, this was unbelievable. Now, of course, the people up north, they're going to laugh at us and be like, ha, 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 this is every winter for us, dog. Y'all are weak. Y'all ain't used to this. Y'all ain't prepared. Listen, this is an anomaly for us. Okay, 10 inches of snow for y'all is a walk in the park. 3 inches for us, it's an apocalypse. We're not prepared for this. We're not used to this because it's an anomaly. It doesn't happen very often. It really doesn't. Like, especially if you go to South Texas, it never snows down there, ever. Like, it never happens. So for it to like come down like this, like, and when it comes to the power issues, I believe the United States runs on 3 grids. Of course, you got the west side, the east side, and then you have Texas. Texas, we run our own grid. We have our own power grid. There's around 30 million people in this state, so I mean, you know, we kind of need our own power grid. We're very energy dependent. We're energy hungry, and the reason why, now, a lot of people, including myself. Now, me personally, me and my family, me, my wife, and my daughter, we were out of power for 30 hours. 30 hours. We didn't have power for fucking 30 hours. I thought I could tough it out. I was talking to my wife. I sincerely believed I thought I could tough it out. I'm like, you know what? I got my phone. You know, it's a little cold. I'll put on my Cowboys robe. You know, we could, like, sleep. I'll sit in my car. You know, like, I'll do something. For a couple of hours, I took a nap in my car. Now, of course, now, there were a lot of people. Now, I'm not trying to poo-poo on people, but carbon monoxide poisoning is real. And if you're going to sit in your car, you need to let the garage up. I'm not trying to just, like, shit on people, but this is something that you should know. People were dying of carbon monoxide poisoning because they were running their cars in their garages. I don't know how people are so dense. I don't understand. But you know what? I'm not gonna like attack those people. We're so insulated. Humanity, like, if you live in the West, the United States, Europe, certain parts of Asia like Japan, we are insulated from the world. We are protected. And this just goes to show how vulnerable we truly are. You have people dying of carbon monoxide poisoning because they don't know that they have to let the garage up when they run their cars. We're so detached from nature and the harshness of reality that we make dumb decisions like that. And that's another thing, brothers. I know I'm all over the place when I'm talking to you over this. My mind is just going everywhere. This, of course, last year with the pandemic crisis and everybody taking everything off the shelves, we're not able to get anything. And then on top of this, you have a winter storm where the government lies to you, the electric companies lie to you, and you're just left out in the cold, literally. They're not going to winterize the Texas grid because there's no profit incentive to do so. Like, and I'm just being real. And if I want to be real with you guys, that makes sense. I mean, of course, you want to prepare for something like this, but at the same time, there's really no profit motive. Like, this doesn't happen very often, so there's no profit in winterizing Texas. There's no profit in that. So I understand that from a business sense, but from a humanity sense, like, holy shit, man, we need to make sure this doesn't happen again. So I can see it from both sides. But going back to vulnerability, this just shows us how vulnerable we truly are. Brothers, as a man, I honestly believe, now y'all may think I'm a boomer or old school for this, but I believe it is my personal responsibility to protect my family, my wife, and my daughter. It is my responsibility. And brothers, you don't really know how bad it felt to have to go to someone else's house for power. Like, we had to go to a friend's house to get heat, to take a shower, to do all of these things. And I felt bad because I'm like, man, I couldn't prevent this from happening. And now I know everything is not in my control. But at the same time, what if we didn't have those friends? What if we didn't have anybody? We would just suffer. I would have to watch my family suffer. And I was just thinking of things where, like, the government lies to us. They're not going to stick their hand out for us. I have to it's about personal responsibility and self-reliance. And I don't have that. I'm personally too dependent on the power grid. I'm dependent on the government, and I hate it. And when you sit back as a man and you sit back and you realize this, you're like, fuck, you know? Like, I'm literally powerless. There's nothing I can do. And it's a bad feeling. I was just talking to my wife the other day when our power came back on. I was like, one of these days we have to figure out a way to invest in a generator, a backup generator. We have to do something to prevent this from happening again. Brothers, my daughter is 10 months. She had to deal with this shit. My daughter is 10 months old. She had to deal with this. She's a trooper, but she had to deal with this. Daddy couldn't help her. We had to pack our stuff and go to a friend's place down the road in order to survive. That's what we had to do. And it sucked. And I just don't like feeling vulnerable like that. And the thing is, I'm sure a lot of people, and the thing is, 2020 was terrible. Of course, the economy shut down. You got the pandemic roaring through, killing thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. We have to close everything down, so the economy is in the shitter. And then, on top of that, we had to deal with a crazy-ass winter storm, Texas bearing the brunt of it. Now, of course, a large portion of the Deep South had to deal with this. But Texas, I feel like we sustained so much damage due to lack of preparation for this. I feel like we bore the brunt of this. Brothers, this was a terrible experience. As you can see, of course, the power is back on. Our water is on, but it's on a boil notice. So I can't really drink that water. I don't even really want to take a shower in that water. I can take a shit in it. But I really can't. I really don't trust anything about it right now until they lift the boil warning. We put some water in a pot, and you can see how dirty and nasty it was. It's terrible. We have to boil that shit in order to do something. Brothers, this was just a horrible experience. It was an eye-opening experience. And these anomalous events, I have a feeling they're going to keep going and keep going and keep going. They're not going to be an anomaly anymore. They're going to be a frequent occurrence. Brothers, I encourage you, we need to start investing and start researching like self-reliance techniques. We have to. Personal responsibility and self-reliance. Brothers, the government is not going to help us. Nobody really is going to help us. And that's the thing is, the popular saying is, Humanity is 9 meals away from complete madness. It's 9 meals away from complete madness. Brothers, if this, and of course, and when I say this, there are still thousands of people without power. There are still thousands of people without power. But just imagine if this was extended. Just imagine if the winter mix would last for another week and a half or 2 weeks. Just imagine. People would be cannibalizing each other. That's how dangerous the human species can get when it's fighting for survival. So the thing is, yeah, you got a couple of folks, they have resources, they'll lend a helping hand, but what happens when those resources run out? What happens if they lose power too? What happens when they find out that you have a little bit of food? That's all I'm saying. Brothers, it's been an incredibly eye-opening experience. I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to feel powerless and weak again. I don't want to go through this again. I honestly don't. It's... Man. Man. Right now, the snow is melting. Right now, the ice is melting. Thank God we can return back to normal. But the thing is, brothers, the way my mind works, I can't go back and just go back to blissful living. I can't. I have to figure something out. You know, the thing is, I like being in control. I like having control of my surroundings. I like having that. I get to sleep at night. But the thing is, brothers, when I lose control and I can't control my own destiny due to something like this, my mind just goes. It's like, man, I got to figure out something. I have to do something to prevent this. I have to protect my family. I have to do it. Brothers, that's my take on the whole thing. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section. All right, brothers, peace.